Welcome back to round 3 of our weekly tournament for the bronze, silver level players that have been coached by me in the last, coached or just general tips, or even hung out in the room while giving tips tournament. In the top right, I think it's going to be a great game, by the way. I'm excited. This is round 3, I think I mentioned already, but in the top right, as the yellow Zerg, we have Midiga. And Midiga definitely has been around since day 1, and he's been in the room every day since. So I'm looking forward to seeing him in this tournament, because I haven't seen one of his games yet. But he got to round 3, and we are still in the winner's bracket. I haven't started casting any yet in the loser's bracket, so just so you're aware, this is the winner's bracket. And in the bottom left corner, we have Haszero, which I casted a game of his, which he beat, somebody. I forget who now. But he moved on and is now facing Midiga in a ZVZ. So ZVZ, you can see some interesting things happen because it's very build-oriented. So if you pick the wrong build, then you're going to have a hard time coming back from that. So, looks like we are going to have an early expand by Midiga, so that's always something that's kind of bold, and it looks like it's actually hatched first from Midiga. Now that is interesting. You can prevent a lot of Zerg cheese, even with a hatch first, like a 6-pool, is stoppable with hatch first, because you don't really need the lings super early. You can just use drones. But if Haszero was to go something like a speedling expand, or anything with like a 10 to 12 pool with a lot of speedlings, then that direct counter is hatch first, and Midiga would have a very tough time holding that off. But we do have the pool down now, and it looks like there will be a few lings that'll head over to Midiga's base to check out what's going on. And we do have the gas now to work on speed, so it's looking like Haszero might be transitioning into just what I said, maybe a little bit of a later pool for what I was saying, but if he tries to punish this hatch first now, this might be a little bit tough for Midiga to hold. But he is throwing down the spine crawler. He does see it coming. He doesn't quite have guys in gas yet, but that might be okay if he's just trying to get some quick lings out to defend. And here come the lings. And they do go straight for the spawning pool, and I mean, not the spawning pool, but the spine crawler. But there's enough Zerglings now to defend this. So even without any drone pulls, it looks like Midiga will be able to handle this. But a couple more Zerglings are coming in, and the spine crawler's up, and that little aggression is now over, and the queen's out. So fortunately, Midiga did hold that very well. These lings probably need to be sent back because there's not really much hope anymore. So I think he did that without getting any workers killed. That's correct. There was 0 workers killed there. So a great hold by Midiga. And that was only possible because he spotted it so early, was able to get that spine crawler down, and the lings just came out in the right time. He was able to do it without losing any drones, and I think without even using any drones to defend with. So that's looking pretty good, and so he's going to just send these 6 lings over, check things out, and probably see something interesting, although he does spot it already. So we're going to have a clash of the Zerglings here, if they don't just pass right by each other, which they might do, and Midiga will pull back to defend this. There's another spine crawler going down, so that's looking good. Haszero ended up putting down a roach warren and is starting to get some roaches out. So this is another thing that if Midiga is not prepared for, it could not go too well from him. He is doing a pretty good job trying to block off this ramp so he can't just kind of run into his main. And it looks like neither has Zergling speed yet. Hazero's is finishing up now. Midiga hasn't even started his yet. So it looks like Midiga is really going for more of a later game macro style but he hasn't really shown any tech yet. He is going to get a Baneling nest to deal with these Zerglings. And fortunately for Haszero, he's switching to Roach tech, and Banelings against Roaches aren't quite as effective as Banelings versus Zerglings. So if Midiga's counting on those Banelings to stop Hazero's Zerglings, then things might not work too great for him. We still really haven't seen much tech from Midiga. We do have some melee attack upgrades coming, and there's the Roach Warren. So it's a little bit later than Hazero's, but it looks like we will have Roachling, Baneling style ZVZ, which is a little bit more exciting than the 10-pool Speedling rush when the game's over. Again, we are seeing a little bit of slower injects, and this queen is headed down to join her friend. And here we go. And so the Roaches are going to be able to overpower these Lings, but there are a decent number of Lings to maybe hold them off, and not going to be able to get us around and keep them in. Probably a good decision by Haszero. He would have taken a lot of losses by these spines. So Hazero's expansion did just come up. Midiga's expansion has already been underway for quite a while, since he did do that hatch first. So I think Midiga does have a little bit of advantage right now just because of the economy, but he hasn't done much to capitalize on that advantage. So if Haszero can get this quickly saturated, he can quickly catch up, because there hasn't been a whole lot done over here on this end. But the supplies are about even. Midiga's might be a little bit ahead now. Fortunately for Midiga, he just has his static defense already up, so Haszero is not going to be able to really push in too much. What would have been nice is to maybe wall this off a little bit with evolution chambers. That way Speedling run-bys would be a lot harder. And now we do see a good surround by Midiga, and he's going to trap in these Roaches, and now Haszero is not looking good. He took a huge supply hit right there. That was a pretty bad engagement on his end. And now with Midiga's economy and his supply lead, he's going to be able to power ahead. For worker counts, we do have 32 versus 30 drones right now, so that's pretty even now. But since Midiga has had his for so much longer, he's been able to really benefit from that expansion for a lot longer a period of time. So he will be attacking right now, and good job walling off this ramp right here. And these spines were put down, looks like just on time, because they came up right as the Roaches showed up. Now Midiga will be forced to either lose this army or back off, but maybe not. The upgrades, there are no upgrades, so I guess just the sheer number of Roaches are going to be able to overpower this. He is going to take a lot of losses in Roaches and won't be able to take the game with this amount of Roaches, obviously, but he did do a lot of damage, and that was a good pullback. Maybe a little bit earlier would have been good, but he did save a few of those Roaches. So we're looking good right now. We do have speed coming for the Roaches, so we'll be able to reinforce quickly. And good injects coming in a time of pressure. For map coverage, for Midiga, we don't have a whole lot. There could be some hidden expansions here. We haven't really even checked for a third here yet. And now another spine's going down, and Haszero is building up some defenses. He also has infestors coming pretty soon, and that could be big trouble for Midiga if he doesn't act quickly. A little bit of a... Okay, so he's going to try to snipe the queen. which is probably a good idea in his position right now, and get some worker kills. And these worker kills are going to be deadly because that's the main thing that Midiga has going for him right now is that economy lead because of that hatch first. So with this stop in mining and with these worker kills, I had 6 workers killed right there. Midiga's just going to be able to power ahead more, and now that we're really mining on one base now, I don't know if there's much that Haszero can do right now besides try to get some quick roaches out and hope to hold this off. Maybe use some drones. And Midiga is just laying waste to all these workers. Looks like Haszero might be able to hold this off, actually. He does have him outnumbered in roaches. Midiga's one attack upgrade isn't quite done yet. It's almost there. Midiga just built a lot of lings. He wants to finish this game now, so he's just going straight units. He's not worried about teching up or taking an expansion. He just wants to power through this and keep the pressure on. Unfortunately, Haszero was not able to get out any infestors. His money is very low, mostly due to that stop in mining right there. So Midiga looks like is going to be able to finish it off right here. There's just too many roaches, and Haszero has not enough money to be able to hold this off. So there's the GG. So well played by Midiga, and that was a good game by both players. So we're off. We're going to be in the finals here pretty soon, I think. We'll see you in a minute.